You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. So I was checking my rain gauge, got one of those fancy satellite driven, connected to the whole neighborhood. It tracks everything. You can watch the storm. It's right over my roof. I can see the temperature, the rain, the whatever. I'm kind of a weather nut. I think that a lot of gardeners kind of are. There's probably pills for that or something, but I just have a monitor and I like to look at it. But it shows you all the history of your area. And so in the last couple of weeks, that last storm we had that was pretty big, was that 2 weeks ago, something like that? I had basically 3/4 of an inch in one 2-day event. Most of it came in one day, a little bit started the day before, and then it's been dry ever since. And so for you to figure out how much rain, how deep does it soak, about an inch of rain will penetrate approximately 6 inches of soil. So you folks out in the valley areas, the Pauldens, Chino Valleys, Prescott Valleys, Dewey, Mayer, that whole 69 corridor, you've got heavy clay with caliche. So water does not penetrate heavy clay very far. So maybe it only goes down 4 inches for you. So an inch of rain will penetrate about 4. It stays there, but about 4 inches of soil. If you're closer to the more granity areas like Granite Mountain, Williamson Valley Road, down over the hill towards Skull Valley, Hillside, those areas, they've got more sandy or granity soil. There, that 1 inch of rain might penetrate, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 inches. Not 8's optimistic, 6 or 7 inches. And so it depends on your soil type, but that gets you a feel for, should I turn off my irrigation system or should I keep it on? The answer is almost always keep it on, because the amount of rain you saw is nowhere close to what your plants need. What it does, it takes the pressure off a little bit so the surrounding soil doesn't suck all the moisture out of the roots of your plants. But that's kind of get you a feel. So don't feel like you have to change your irrigation right away. Let a couple big events happen. So August is a wet month for us. Typically, hopefully, God willing, please do your rain dances and all that stuff that you do to get rain in the area. We need that. But typically August, the first part of September are wet months. So don't feel like you need to turn that irrigation back too quickly. Let it soak up the surrounding soils. With that being said, I did find a couple spots there's some erosion issues. So there's a lot of rain all at once. And so if you've got a new build and that road embankment starting to wash away, or you've got a dry wash that filled up and then started, taking things away, there are some plants I thought I'd give you that are really good at rooting in deeply and holding hillsides back. And so ground covers are kind of a misunderstood kind of a plant category. And it could be vines, it could be shrubs, it could even be some of the shorter ornamental grasses. Grasses hold soil like nothing else. Even when they've been dead for 3 years, those roots are still there, holding the soil together. They're great for the environment in your landscape. But let's go back. So I have an entire section at the garden center that we've curated, and it's just all the knee-high and shorter plants that they spread out wide. They've got deep roots, but they don't grow very tall. And then we have an entire fast-growing vine section. And let's start with that. So the number one seller by far for erosion control, I put my kids through college with this category of plants, is honeysuckle. Honeysuckle, there's a broad category. I probably have 6 different varieties, colors at the garden center right now. There's a shrub variety, but the vine covers are more popular. Now, a lot of folks think you have to grow a vine up something. That is not true. You can grow it as a ground cover and just let it crawl up and down, holding that embankment intact. So I've seen that done with honeysuckle, with trumpet vine, with Boston ivy, Virginia creeper. There's a lot. In fact, I would say the way vines naturally grow is as ground covers. So don't discount them. Now, if they cut into that embankment and now all of a sudden your back patio is looking up at this gigantic wall and that rain started have all this rock coming down at you on your patio, vines are a great way to go there. Plant them at the base, encourage them to grow up. So we'll grow them with typically bamboo stakes. And so you'd want to plant it. Then you take those stakes off and you take the tendrils of that vine and you pin it to the wall, or you force it to grow where you want. These are wild plants. They will do their own thing if you don't tame them. So you got to get that bullwhip out and go whoosh. No, you're not growing there. You're going over here. So I had to redirect my watermelons this week. They were wanting to grow all over my everything. Going, no, boys, this is not where you're going. You're going over in this direction, not there. So it looks better. It's tamed. And that's really, gardening is taming the wild so it looks groomed. And so that's what you're doing also with some of these vines. They grow so fast. Literally, they're growing in the racks 2-3 feet. I mean, if you stand still, they'll start attaching themselves to you going, hey, are we going home? Plant me now. So vines are great. So I would say honeysuckle comes in red, whites, yellows, oranges. There's a lot of different varieties, and animals don't eat them. Javelina and deer and rabbits and pack rats, they don't bother those. And then trumpet vine, I've seen used that way as well. It looks beautiful. The number one native that we have growing in the area is Virginia creeper. It's a 5-petaled, 5-leafed node leaf. It doesn't really bloom. It's most famous for its big, gigantic, rich green foliage that grows fast. It's native. So once it gets established, it's not going anywhere. It'll take care of itself. And then it turns bright red in the fall. I mean, usually October is this month to go, whoa, it just looks so good. So the bright, not just muted red. We're talking like intense, like the brightest crayon in the box, that red. That's the red it turns. So Virginia creeper. Boston ivy is a cousin. They're direct cousins, same DNA, but Boston ivy has 3-leaf node. Virginia creeper has 5-leaf nodes, but they grow very similar. Boston ivy is more orange and red. Virginia creeper is bright red. So those are the vines. The shrubs, you could put them on your drip system, water them once a week, maybe twice a week if they're brand new, but once they're established, maybe once a week would be enough to keep them going. But a knee-high plant could get 6 feet across. So one plant with a drip emitter covers a huge amount of space. This is perfect for rock lawns. If your whole front lawn is nothing but rock and it just looks like too lunar, too dusty, I don't live in the Mojave Desert. I want to live like in the mountains of Arizona. You're going to need some green to soften that up, some live scape, some living material to soften up all that hardscape, rocks, boulders, irrigation fences, that kind of stuff, decks. And so the softscape, the shrubs that look great, the two most popular, mainly because of commercial setting, you get a lot of plant for the money. They grow fast. They don't die. So a contractor can put them in. They don't have to worry about them having to come back and replace it within the 2 years of their license. There's a whole thing that they do there. Anyway, cotoneaster or cotton Easter. There's a low-growing variety. Actually, there's 3 or 4 low-growing varieties. Coral Beauty is, I would say, the easiest to grow. Not the easiest. The most established. I don't know. This one I like. there we go. Evergreen. Animals don't eat it. It gets a white flower in spring, red berries. So red Coral Beauty, the coral berries, and it spreads easily. Gets maybe 18 inches high and easily 6 feet across. Beautiful, evergreen, rolling. Because looks great at the edge of retaining rock or retaining walls and spilling over. A companion to that is there's 2 basically. One, the most popular is junipers. There's all kinds of creeping junipers. You can't kill a juniper. They're tough. Once they get established, they're just going to keep, and some of them are so low growing, they're basically below ankle height. They look like lawn. You're not going to roll on them and wrestle with the kids, but they look that good, but they're so tough. One drip emitter, the plant will spread out ankle high by 6-8 feet wide. That's what you got. Another one that's a native, there's a ground cover manzanita that's really pretty. It's called knick or bearberry. It's got several names, but it is a manzanita, evergreen, red bark, low growing, so 6 inches at most, and spreads out. And once it gets established, it is going to be as hardy as manzanita. And nothing bothers manzanita. So your pack rats and your javelinas and your deer and your rabbits, all those pests out there, not going to bother it. Those are some great ideas. And there's more. Again, we've curated an entire section of just plants that do this for you. But if you want ground covers, come see me. Water's garden companion plants for August are radio red salvias, trumpeting vine, and butterfly bush.
Monarch and swallowtail butterflies flock to Water's butterfly bush with spectacular 8-inch flowers filling the yard with fragrance and beauty.
Heat, drought, wind only make this shrub bloom more. Tough enough to grow in clay, but hardy enough to shine in containers.
With so many colors to choose, every yard should have at least 2.
You'll only find impressive butterfly bush at Water's Garden Center in Prescott. For a more fruitful garden, increase success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit watersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Waters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.